Hello, this is Malorian, and now this will be the fifth and last game of the Out of the Basement tournament, and it's going to be my Orcs up against some Demons. Alright, so up until this point, things were going really well. Right now, I'm tied for having the best win record. As far as best overall, I'm 1 point behind the Chaos Dwarf guy, so ranked pretty high. But for this one here, what they did for matching up is instead of doing it off of win record, they actually did it for the best overall. Now, my opponent here had gotten a lot of points from painting. Actually, they had only picked 4 armies out of all of them to be voted on by the players for best painting, and this is one of them. I mean, he was doing fairly well with his win record too. You know, I think he was around a little over 500, but not really the massacres or stuff to be at the really top. And he was pretty open right at the beginning that he did not want to play against my army. So, you know, it's never a good way to start where you're up against someone who doesn't want to play against you, but we're going to make the most of it, and hopefully I'll just get a fast win here. One thing I was hoping to do, though, is one of the last little act of valors I need to get is the one where I get the mission scenario. So at first I thought, no matter what the game is, I'm just going to go for that mission. I'll jump in a watchtower, whatever it is, and I don't even care if I lose. But in this thing here, there was no real mission. This one here is where the fire comes in from the side. This is the same table I play that Lizardman guy. And so really, to get that, you have to win. So, alright, let's do this. From my side, I got the chariots on the left, then the savages with my war boss, the bunker behind, all those war machines, the troll, the night goblins, and then the black orcs with the shaman on the right. The shaman is there because I just don't want to have any bad luck going on with animosity, and I want to make sure I got foot down on his units because he has a lot of fast stuff, which I'm going to go over now. He has 5 of those mounted Slanesh girls on the left, 3 screamers, 3 fiends, 3 screamers, 20 of the demonettes, and there's a herald in there, 20 bloodletters with the herald BSB in there. Behind is 10 of the horrors, and then he has his general, which is a herald of Tzinch with beasts. Then he has 5 flamers, 5 of the flesh tearers, I think they're called, and then 5 more flamers on the right, and 3 more screamers that you can't really see. So, you know, opposed to what you'd normally see with a demon army, which is really just a rush in and, you know, rip your head off, kind of like how an orc army is kind of played, this is almost more like a finesse kind of wood elf army, where there's a lot of fast elements, it's all about rushing around you, and then there's still those little hard elements in there so that if you you know, just try and run up too fast or show off a flank, boom, you can have bloodletters in your flank and you're in big trouble. So I have to be kind of careful. I have to be a little bit defensive to make sure I don't let them get around me into my war machines. But, you know, those screamers are pretty easy to kill. So if I can land a Doom Driver on them, they're done. So I got first turn, which was fantastic. And in the end, what happened is that he decided to be a little bit more aggressive and decided to do Vanguard moves, which was really no big deal. I mean, if you want to move up after the fact when I know I get first turn, whatever. And so he just moved up his mounted chicks on the left, and I charged with a chariot. You know how it goes. I rolled 1 for impact hits. In the end, I think obviously I killed 1 more with regular attacks, and we're just kind of stuck there. So I really thought with impact hits I'd crush him, but whatever. Otherwise, I'm really pushing up. I used Hand of Gork just to get my Black Orcs right into his face. My positioning is not the way I really wanted it because there is a marsh on the right, and we're playing this stuff as mysterious, and I don't want to really have any real problems where it's going to be something where we're going to be losing a bunch of guys. So I am more left than I wanted to, which means the bloodletters can get into the fight as well. But to help mitigate that, I really went after them with my Foot of Gork and smashed them. So they're a little bit reduced, not as much as I'd like, but you know, if things go my way, I can blow through them pretty quickly here. So on his turn, he did what I expected, charging these 2 units in here. He was really down on himself, saying, well, like, whatever, I'm screwed, this is just going to be an easy win for you. But you know what? Even though it looks way in my favor because I have this big, huge horde, his units hit really hard as well. And, you know, this could go either way, depending on if some little bit of lucky rolls one way, or even in a drawn-out fight, he can be quickly killing off my guys. So in the turn looks like this. He brought in his fiends to help destroy the chariot on the left, decided not to overrun, and on the right you can finally see where that other unit of screamers are. I'd been kind of careful to make sure he couldn't get past me with his screamers on the left. That's why they're a little bit more defensive. Otherwise he's starting to shoot at me with his flamers, so that's why you see some missing models there. And in the combat there, I actually lost combat. What the big thing that led to it is that he actually has a banner on his BSB that maybe I should have gone after him, but adds the D6 combat res. And it was just enough to tip it into his favor, and luckily I held. And so hopefully with the grind I'll be able to do it. He's lost hatred now, I've lost the chopper rule, but I really need to try and get a few more kills here because he's going to be starting to cut into my attacks. My turn 2, I send the chariot into the chicks on the left, roll the 1 for impact hits again, so whatever, there's 1 left, hopefully I can grind. If nothing else, it's just a distraction that's keeping the fiends back, because if those fiends dip around too fast, it's going to be causing a lot of trouble for me. Otherwise, the savages just moving up, trying to get up there and kill what he has, and then we had a little bit of an issue. I'd actually set this up so that the night goblins in the second round here could swing around, clip on the far left, and then net them and add in all that combat res. Well, the problem is that it was really close, really close, and really, to be honest, it was about a millimeter too much where I was going to kind of hit into the base there and couldn't really get past. So whatever, couldn't do it. Right now they have reformed to be facing the right just to kind of make sure the flamers and those screamers aren't too much of an issue. I charged in the troll instead. Did some damage. As you can see, he's starting to get fairly dwindled, but he's still winning combat. And luckily I'm holding, but like I say, I mean, he's starting to cut into my attacks now, and it's only a matter of time until things could go bad if I don't finish these guys off. And then here's the killer. I knew it was possible. I was really hoping it wasn't going to do it, but now these flamers are my rear, so not only is it combat res to them, but with all these guys with their strength 5 attacks, that's going to be a bunch of extra kills as well, which is more important right now to me than combat res. So at the end of turn it looks like this, and hey look, that big huge unit of 500 points of Black Orcs are all gone. And the worst part of it is I didn't even do enough to get any points out of it. He still has 2 guys in a unit plus the Herald, 1 dog left, and so really my 500 points have gained me 0 at this point. Luckily, the way it worked out, my troll rolled double 1s for its break test and was technically out of the combat, so he's chilling there. But yeah, I mean, now he's starting to zip over with all of his guys on the left there and shooting me up. So my savages are really starting to take a hit. He moved back with his units, and it's set in an awkward way right now where what am I supposed to charge? If I charge any of the easy units on the right, I'm going to get bogged up and get some demonettes in my flank. If I go for the demonettes, it's a kind of a long charge. And so I'm going to need to do something though, because now I'm behind. He's all over me. You can see on the left, he has destroyed the chariot and things, and he's sweeping around with his fiends. And so I need to start scoring some points here, because it's going south. So on my turn, I'm able to pull off. There's a little gap there, so my troll was able to go through and get to the dogs. I'm not going to die eventually, but I was hoping I could destroy the dog and then get those points of the trade of the 45 troll. In the end, couldn't pull it off. I'm still kind of stuck there. I won combat, he just held. I really tried to make sure to deal with all these things here in the center to try and free it up. I was able to charge the left screamers and destroy them. With shooting, the right screamers are gone. I also thought I could destroy the other screamers here, but I just scattered off. And then with some shots on the fiends on the left, I was able to kill 1 at least. So at least that's something. I was hoping for more, but that's all you got. So back to his turn now, turn 3. By the way, it's not going to really show it, but he had the one little mounted chick on the left who eventually actually was trying to hide and got killed by the fire from the mission, so there's some points. But my savages, who had failed my charge last turn, now he's going around shooting them up even more, so they're getting even more dwindled. It's getting even more desperate. And the only real good news I have is that his fiends that went into my archers here, he did some damage, but I did some back, and he's now down to 1. So even though it's just a bunker, it looks like my bunker is going to score me a good chunk of points from these guys. My turn 4, and now this is where I'm starting to feel a lot better. In combat, the Fiend is gone. With shooting, the last Screamers are gone. Uh, let's see here. Oh, well, the big thing is my Savages finally get the charge into his Demonettes up there. He did almost no damage to me. I think killing 4 or 3, and I just wiped him out all in one turn. And the only bad news is being frenzied, I had to overrun, and so I'll have to wait till later to come back. But finally scoring some solid points and looking pretty good. His side of 4, I was great. I was really happy to see this. He sent the Flamers into my flank, and so I started moving over my bosses to fight them. And he also then sent his Bloodletters into my front. So whereas I was worried I wasn't going to get the points for these Bloodletters, I'm pretty sure with my Stabby Sticks I'll be able to kill those 2 guys and get all those points. Maybe later with the Herald I can pick him down depending what he has. But, other than these Flamers on the left, which are going to be a pain for a while, hopefully I can go and use this to score some real points. And yeah, so basically what's happening is that everything's moving away from my Savages, a bunch of shooting into my Archers. They're almost all wiped out, but luckily they held. In the combat, I did kill those 2 Bloodletters, so that's good news. But I lost combat, did almost nothing to the Flamers there, even with 3 big bosses, and then I broke. And he decided he was only going to charge with the Flamers. I was guessing it's because he was going to go and try and hide his Herald or something, and I only ran like 5 inches. So, oh yeah, it looks like I'm screwed, but he only ran like 4 inches. So I got away, and this is a huge saving grace for me. My turn 5, pretty straightforward. I rally, BSB joins the unit that's not about to die, and then all my shooting tries to go into the Herald, and I just fail. Everything scattering off, failing to hit, or actually I did 1 wound to him, so that's unfortunate, but hopefully next turn my Savages can get into his bunker, and I can start scoring some points. His turn 5, now he did have the choice where he could just charge everything into my guys there and go for that, but he decided to go for the sure things. So the 1 unit of Flamers goes to the left, shoots up the Archers, they're gone. The other ones double charge my Chukkas, which were foolishly put too close together, and killed them both, overran into the Doom Diver, and the 1 Herald wanted to get away, but it failed its march test and is stuck there where I can see it. And the best thing, as you can see from here, and what I'm hoping is going to happen, is that this is actually a flank charge. So if I swing around and hit the flank, I'm obviously going to beat him. Then when I overrun, maybe I can catch those Flamers as well, but we'll have to see. And so that's what I do. I flank him, I kill him, it's no problem, but when I overrun, it's just short of getting to the Flamers. And then of course his Flamers kill my Doom Diver, and by the way there, the Savages failed their charge, so whatever, I mean, they got some points, but... And then on his turn, it's a simple matter. His Flamers went over, killed the other Doom Diver, some shooting killed 1 crewman from another machine, and that's the game. So, in the end, I had about 1,700 victory points. He had about 1,100, so a good victory to me. The main thing, too, is that meant that got that extra valor for me, so I had pretty much everything now except for the killing of a special character, which never even presented itself. And just looking back on this game, I think one of my biggest mistakes was taking on too much with the Bloodletters, or with the Black Orcs, trying to kill the Bloodletters. I just didn't even really consider the Flamers joining the attack, which is something I should have put into math. Also knowing that they're just, this is Khorne. They do a lot of damage. I should have respected them a bit more. And I didn't mention it, but I probably by this time put a caption, but he killed my magic in that very first turn. So losing your mage turn 1 meant that the whole game I was just wishing I could be casting Hand of Gork or Foot of Gork or something, or it'd even be nice to be able to casting the rerolls, but just had none of that to deal with. So that was really tough. So not only did being too aggressive lost that 500 point unit, but also lost me all my magic for the entire game. Otherwise, I should mention that my opponent had some pretty bad luck. 4 of the rounds, he only had 3 power dice. But in the end, it was just... it almost felt like almost like an overly competitive game. Something that I really am probably really lax on is that in 8th you have true line of sight. And so for my part, I mean, because if you see like a belt buckle and all the rest of the guy is covered, you have line of sight. And so it almost always happens. And so he really called on me on a lot of them where, if you look down and it's going through all the black orcs, I couldn't actually see these things. But and then even times where I was pretty sure it was, I just didn't want to bring up a fight. But uh, I just didn't want to be all that serious, and unfortunately, that's the way it went. My opponent fairly was, he's pretty frustrated because he didn't want to fight me in the first place. Had a little bit of bad luck. He had that one judgment call, which meant that my night goblins weren't run down, and that what really, they came back and scored me a bunch of points. So a little bit of a frustrating game for my opponent, but whatever, it's all done, and I'll be back with my summary right away.